Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English. Dear friends, in this video I'll summarize a very interesting story titled The Chronicle of Hariya Doom. The Chronicle of Hariya Doom. It's a famous story by the famous Bengali writer Shyamal Kumar Pramanik, and it's a story about a Dalit community, about a Dalit person. Let's have a discussion very briefly in the very beginning in the form of introduction. So, the Chronicle of Hariya is a very important story, very poignant tale written by Shyamal Kumar Pramanik, one of the most significant writers of Bangla Dalit literature. The story is set in a very remote village of Sonagaon in the Sundarbans, West Bengal. The narrative shows the lives of Dom community, the lowest in the caste hierarchy, we can say Dalit community, Dome community. So Dome is the name of the community who had transformed dense forest into farmland to sustain themselves. So they started farming. Over the time, they come under intense exploitation by the powerful landlords and the corrupt political figures. So they have been the victims of those landlords and the politicians. So they have always been exploited this community, and somehow this community have started doing the farming, doing the agriculture. So at the heart of the story, there's a brave farmer whose name is here Hariya Dome. Hariya Dome is a very brave and very humble farmer who faces the loss of his ancestral land after his father's death under mysterious circumstances. So, who loses his ancestral land because his father died, and due to some circumstances, who is going to lose the this farmland? So, before that, let's try to understand one more thing is here. So, the story is driven by the injustice, and it's inspired by a dream of empowerment. So, driven by injustice and inspired by a dream of empowerment, Hariya Dom, he rises to challenge the tyranny of Nibaran Chowdhury. So he's going to challenge the dictatorship of this Nibaran Chowdhury, who is the wealthy landlord who would like to occupy his land, who would like to catch his farmland. So through Hariya's struggle, this story brings us a themes like caste oppression, land rights, and corruption in the local governance, and the possibility of resistance. So hence we can say that the Chronicle of Hariyatom is a story of courage, dignity, and the fight for justice in the face of the systematic wrongs or the wrong political system. So let's know the character in the story. So we have the character Hariadom, who is a poor but brave farmer, determined, self-respecting, and a symbol of the oppressed rising against injustice. Loki Bala. Loki Bala, Hariya's wife, very caring, silent lady. She represents the suffering which generally the women of all the poor households they suffer. Nidhu Dom. Nidhu Dom is Hariya's father. Nidhu is Hariya's father, very honest, very proud, who dies mysteriously when he denies to sell his land. Nibaran Chaudhary, very greedy landlord, and who is trying to occupy the lands, who is a symbol of feudal exploitation and corruption. Neel Madhav, his accomplice, a kind of messenger or the follower of Chaudhary. Babulal. Babulal is the member of the panchayat from Hariya's caste, right? Panchayat head, MLA, minister, and these political leaders. So these are the characters we will find here. Let's remember Hariya and Lokibala, husband wife, Nibu Dom, Hariya's father, and Nibaran Chaudhary, who is a very greedy landlord, Neel Madhav, who is a messenger from Nibaran Chaudhary, Babulal, a most important person from the Panchayat from Hariya's caste. So I'll try to explain the story in the form of the themes. So to begin with, the background of the story. The story takes place in Sonagaon, a remote village in the Sundarbans, Bengal. It's surrounded by forest, rivers, and wildlife. A region that was once full of snakes and tigers during the British rule. Over the time, Dome community, who were considered low caste, who were treated like animals by the upper caste, this Dome community, they cleared the forest and they converted the forest into fertile farmlands. They started to build the houses, they started to cultivate the paddy, and in this manner, gradually, they have become farmers because they changed this forest land into a cultivated land, right? So, however, this peace did not last long. Why? There was a greedy landlord, and the money lenders, they entered their lives and they started to exploit them. They started to take away their hard earned land. They started to snatch the lands which they have converted into a uh, we can say fertile land. Now the Chowdhury family. Among the landlords, there was a one famous landlord, Nibaran Chowdhury, who was the son of Adhir Chowdhury. Adhir Chowdhury had once come to Sonagaon as a revenue collector, soon started to acquire the lands from all this Domes community by deceit, dhokha, or by force. And this Adhir Chaudhary, he was driven by greed, lust. He was taking all the lands, the domes, who had made them fertile. So by the time Adhir died, by the time Nibaran Chaudhary's father Adhir Chaudhary died, he had accumulated huge property, and this property, obviously, after father's death, it has gone to Nibaran, and Nibaran Chaudhary, he had inherited the whole property. So, despite the progress of the outside world, the Sonagaon remained trapped in poverty, inequality, exploitation. Outside the world, the great progress was going on, but only this village, the Sonagaon, all you can see only poverty, inequality, and the exploitation because most of the property was snatched or we can say accumulated by Nibaran Chaudhary or Adhir Chaudhary. Now, Hariya Dome and his family. Hariya Dome, a poor Dome farmer, he lived with his wife Lokibala and his children. His father Nibu Dome, once he refused to sell their land to Nibaran Chaudhary. So when Nibaran Chaudhary he would like to occupy Hariya Dome's father's Nibu Dome's land. So what happens? Nibu Dome he didn't give his land. So very secretly Nibudom, Hariadom's father, was killed by a crocodile during a local festival. What kind of festival? A kind of an event the villagers believed was not entirely naturally, hinting at Chaudhry's dark influence, right? So after his father's death, so it was again a very a kind of nobody could understand the mystery of Nibu Dom's death. So after his father's death, obviously Hariya took charge of the family. He worked hard on his 10 bighas of land. How many bighas? 10 bighas of land, and he started to cultivate the betel leaves, and he started to earn some sort of handsome earnings were going on. A good modest living was going on. He was very happy with his family. Now the greedy demand. So one day Neil Madhav, who is an assistant of Nibaran Chaudhary, he came to call summon Hariya to Chaudhary's mansion. So he came, hey Hariya, you need to come to Chaudhary Saab house. So बुलावा आया है चौधरी साहब के घर जाना तेरे को. So something like a kind of summon. Hariya was uneasy. His relations with the landlord had been strained because there was no connection after his father's death. So he thought, why is he called to Chaudhary Saab house? So when Hariya met Nivaran Chaudhary, the landlord tried to convince him to sell his 10 bighas of land. saying that he requires the land to develop a project, a kind of a project. For that project, he needs 10 because of land, and you sell me. Hariya firmly refused. Hariya said, do what you do with your own land, master. Why reach for the tiny plot of ancestral land the poor have? He said, why are you reaching? It's my Purvaj ka zameen hai. It's my ancestral land, right? Why are you reaching to me? Do whatever you want to do. Do it with your own land. So he refused to sell his 10 bigha land. So Nivaran Chaudhary got very angry. He said, deal with it later. Don't worry, I'll do it with later. I'll deal with it later. And this poor man's restless night. So that night, Hariya, he lay awake in his broken hut. He could not sleep the whole night. He looked at his sleeping wife, shivering children, and he was thinking about the future. He realized how men like Nivaran Chaudhary had robbed generations of Dom's caste and made them landless and poor. He knew that if he did nothing, they would lose everything again. So he thought that if I don't protest tomorrow, I'm also going to lose my property, my land, which is the cultivated one. So the idea of resistance is going to emerge now. Hariya remembered one person called Babulal, and Babulal also belongs to his own caste and who is a member of Gram Panchayat, a village council, and who once spoke of the power of the workers. So once Babulal told that there's a great unity among us, right? So Babulal had told him that they must unite to resist exploitation just like other organized groups. So he remembered Babulal's word that if we all remain united, obviously we can fight against the exploitation, right? So at first, Hariya had ignored this kind of things. He was not trusting Panchayat, but now when he has faced this Mr. Chaudhary, and when he is about to lose his land, he just started to recall Babulal, right? The member. Now, Hariya went to the Panchayat office. He was hoping for justice. The Panchayat head pretended to be sympathetic but revealed his true colors. He was clearly in league with Chaudhary. Means to say, this Panchayat head also had some sort of connection. Simply was saying, don't worry, we'll do everything for you, don't worry, all these things. He suggested that, and this Panchayat head told her, hey, come on, why don't you take money? Take money, go away, just leave this matter. He was very frustrated. Hariya went to the MLA. MLA also was trying to just showing his concern, and he was disgusted by Hariya's caste, Dome caste, and he started to treat him with contempt. He made very vague promise and he asked him to return later, but he was keep on avoiding. So in this manner, he didn't get any kind of assistance, any help, any assurance from, even he didn't get assurance from Panchayat head, he didn't get any assurance from the MLA also. So he could see here how the political system was so corrupted. Now, finally, Hariya went to the minister himself. After days of hunger and travel, he managed to meet minister only to be insulted and thrown out. There also he was thrown out. He was mercilessly insulted by the minister. And the minister shouted, you are such a rascal, scoundrel. Isn't my time valuable? Get out of here. This was the last straw for Hariya, the last ray of hope for Hariya, right? But all these people, they failed. Now, there is a very interesting turn in the story here. That night, Hariya gathered all the villagers under the Dharmaraj Mandir. He told them, he told them they must resist or they would all be homeless. So that night, he called all the villagers, Doms, community villages under Dharmaraj Mandir, the temple of the god of death. And he told them, yes, look, we have to be together, united, otherwise we all will lose our land. The villagers also showed the same kind of pain. They also told that yes, we have lost some of the lands here. They have been captivated by these landlords, right? Now, after the meeting, Hariya fell asleep in the temple courtyard. Right? He slept in the temple courtyard only, and that night he had a divine dream. Ek swapna aaya usko. He had a divine dream. So, what did he see in his dream? He saw gods descending from the sky in the golden chariots. They told him that a monster had conquered heaven and only a human can defeat it. And for who is the human? Hariya was chosen. They gave him a sword and he killed the monster in a fierce battle. That was a dream he saw. In the dream, he got the sword by the god and he killed all the monsters and he saved the heaven. So that kind of dream he had seen or he had dreamt. Now, after the dream, what happened? The dream symbolized that even the oppressed could become divine warriors if they rose against evil, if they gather the courage, if they stand up on their feet, right? They can easily fight, they can easily protest, they can easily win. So, this is the learning he has received from this dream. Okay, now what happened now? Now he got a lot of courage, right? When Hariya awoke, the dream seemed almost real. Soon he heard that Nibaran's men had surrounded the village to evict them. All these gundas they had come over there to make them chalo khali karo, just vacate the village. They all came them to throw those villagers out of the village. The morning he wake up, filled with the courage of his dream. He was filled with the courage because he has seen the dream and he is filled with the courage. He shouted to his people, he said, "Go, bring everything you can find, lathis, large sticks, everything you bring from your houses." Right? What you should do? So he was leading the whole villagers from the front and he charged at the goons with a stick and he started to yell, he started to beat them, saying that you bloody rascals, I shall not let anyone return alive from here today. Come, we'll face it now. So he was leading the whole group, and everybody was having some lathi, something. The Domes, this community people, they were inspired by Hariya's bravery and they attacked in unison. Unison means together. All of them together, united, they all attacked on Nivaran's gundas, and all those gundas they ran away in fear. And this is how, from that day on, Nivaran Chowdhury never dared to enter their village again. This is the power in the unity which he has received this power from the dream. So this is how the story concludes, the Chronicle of Hariya Dome. So the story, the Chronicle of Hariya Dome, is not just a story of one man. It's the voice of all the oppressed people, right? It's written by Shyamal Kumar Pranamik. It's the voice of all the oppressed people who have suffered exploitation, humiliation, and the loss for generations. Through Hariya's courage and dream, the writer Shyamal Kumar Pranamik, he gives hope that what's a hope? Truth and justice lie in unity and self-belief, not in the promise of corrupt leaders. The ending, the climax of the story, where Dom's community they drive away, they throw the landlord's men. It's like it's a symbol of new dawn. It's a symbol of new age, new era. A new era is emerging, where the marginalized finally rise to reclaim the land and dignity. So this is how I have tried my best to summarize the important story, the Chronicle of Hariya Dome by the famous Bangla Dalit writer Shyamal Kumar Pranamik. Hope you have liked this video. Click on the like button, subscribe the channel, and this story is in the syllabus of Bangalore North University first semester BCom General English SAP syllabus. So for all the videos, just have a look, have a glance at the playlist and stay tuned with my channel Mukesh English. Thank you so much.